really hungry to serve, hungry to get out of debt, hungry to be on my own. We were seeing like sometimes up to 35 patients a day, like 20-minute visits. I was hearing all the voices like, are you crazy? Like private practice, they all go out of business. Are you working with someone? Are you joining like a whole group? Because that would be better. Like you're hearing all the naysay. I knew I was burnt out. I knew I couldn't stay with my employed position, and I knew what I wanted.
Welcome to DPC Life, the podcast where independent doctors share real stories, bold ideas, and the freedom of doing medicine on your own terms. I'm your host, Dr. Ann Gonzalez, and together we'll explore the wins, the struggles, and everything in between. Let's dive in. Before we get started, I just wanted to give you an update about the DPC Women Connect event. We had 11 physicians who are either newly opened or planning their DPC practices. And it was really exciting because I watched physicians go from quietly thinking about change to actually talking through the next steps together. Community matters much more than we realize when we are considering something this big. I'm planning another DPC Women Connect gathering later this spring, and I'll mention it here once the dates are set. Well, thank you to my guest today, Dr. Cindy Ojevwe. She is a family medicine doctor in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, and she owns Dr. Cindy Care. And I love that name. Yes, so she's family medicine, started just July 2025 with her direct primary care practice. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez. Thanks for having me. It's such an honor, such a pleasure.
Absolutely. Oh, my honor.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into it. How did you find direct primary care? What brought you to
Sure.
it?
So, as you said, I am family practice. I graduated from residency in 2021 here in Pennsylvania with Penn State. I always knew that I wanted my own private practice. It was not feasible at the time, of course. You're always told when you graduate residency to never go directly into private practice. So I was an employed physician, really hungry to serve, hungry to get out of debt, hungry to be on my own. So I was with a major hospital system in the area. I started with them. They gave me a really nice sign-on bonus. So I was commuting actually, because we were based about an hour and a half away at the time I was married. So I ended up commuting for that first year, ended up unfortunately going through a divorce. Maybe I should say fortunately, but it was just a really hard time. So I started out in outpatient primary care, really got burnt out. We were seeing like sometimes up to 35 patients a day, like 20-minute visits. At that particular institution, the nurses could add on walk-ins. It was just really bad. So I wanted at the time to stay with the same employed healthcare system. So in family practice, we're trained, we can do outpatient, we can do inpatient. I switched to a hospitalist role just to get that kind of 1 week on, 1 week off balance to see my kids more because I was not seeing them. I would get home, you're still charting, you're waking up early, you're leaving late, you're dealing with that dreaded in basket. Oh my God. I think I'm traumatized from that. But I switched to inpatient and I did that for an additional 2 years. And again, I was commuting an hour and a half. So on my weeks on, my regular shift would be like from 7 to 7. And of course, you don't always leave at 7. If a patient is crashing, you kind of have to be there before you sign out to someone. So I would be waking up around 4:30, leaving the house, driving down, because I wanted to be as much as possible to be home with my kids. And for me that was a personal choice because I was a non-traditional grad. I had my son in med school after my second year and I had my daughter right before I started residency. I had her like mid-June, and then by July 1st, I was starting family practice because I was determined I didn't want to take any time off. Thankfully, my mom was around, so she really helped me with the babies. But I was at the point where I wanted more time with my family, and I was willing to do whatever it took to get that time. Essentially, the last 2 years, just commuting. I thought the 1 week on, 1 week off schedule would really help with that work-life balance. It did not, because on the weeks that you're working, it was terrible, like I described. And then even on the weeks that I was off, I would actually need at least a day or two to recover. So you're in your own zone. I can't move. I just need some time, guys. Like you're not even emotionally available. So I found that system was still not working for me. And I forgot to add that even while I was working on as a hospitalist, I was also moonlighting in their urgent care. So on the week, I know, on the weeks off, I would pick up additional shifts. It was lucrative. It certainly was. But of course, for that family work-life balance, definitely not. So that all contributed to my decision to open my own private practice. I felt like it was time. So around May, let me backtrack. So during my hospitalist days, especially during that last year on those long commutes, I discovered that podcast, Entre MD podcast with Dr. Una, who's this champion for physician entrepreneurs doing their thing. So I would listen to her going back and forth, and that really gave me the courage to make that bold step of saying like, okay, I think it's time. Cindy, you're burnt out, you're tired, you need to make a change. So in July of this year, so I joined the business school, which is not really a business school in the sense like you get an MBA when you graduate, but it was more of a community of like-minded physicians who were all doing the same thing. Some are at different levels and stages, and they were able to give advice and kind of walk you through the whole transition. So I joined that group in May of this year, 2025. That was helpful. I knew that if I was going to do this, I did not want to be alone. I was hearing all the voices like, are you crazy? Like private practice, they all go out of business. Are you working with someone? Are you joining like a whole group? Because that would be better. Like you're hearing all the naysayers. So I knew I needed that support system. So got in with them. And then because of the employed position that I had, I could not like advertise before I started until I had that clean break. I know that we are told that with DPC, especially you at least need a side gig in those early years, but I didn't have that. I knew I was burnt out. I knew I couldn't stay with my employed position, and I knew what I wanted. So I made the clean break. Thankfully, because of those crazy hours I was pulling, I did have some savings to help with that. I did also, things just kind of fell into place for me too. I can't deny the divine hand in my life, but I was looking for a place to rent for the practice, like just a room. And going around places in the area, I was actually with a realtor who helped me buy my home. He wasn't a commercial, but I really liked the relationship and we were going around. One of the places we visited, I didn't like the place. It was horrible. But the realtor who was showing us the place and talking and chit-chatting and our personalities connected, he's like, hey, I have this place for you. I really think you will like it. It's another doc who's selling his building. It's not even on the market yet. And the way he described it, I was like, I need to see this place. Take me to it. Fortunately, I had a family member, a cousin of mine, who's also a physician. He has his own private practice in New York. And I remember when I was discussing with him about renting a place, one of the things he told me was, you're making this step, why don't you buy? Because you're in a good position to buy. And God forbid the practice doesn't do well. At least you have a piece of property that you can either rent or it's a form of income. So it made sense. So I called him up. I was like, yeah, can you believe what happened? This guy said he has this place. I'm going to go check it out. We ended up going. And lo and behold, it's small, it's cozy. He had like 8 exam rooms and process went smoothly. I ended up buying my first building. So I closed on that. I know, I closed on that. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I closed on that in May, and I bought it from another integrative doc who's doing his own thing. He also used to work for one of the major hospital systems, and he was friendly, mentoring. So we have that connection as well. So unfortunately, the building I bought, fortunately, I should say fortunately. I keep saying unfortunately, but these are actually good things because I like to look at the good in everything. When I bought it, he had recently leased it to a tenant. It was like a med spa. And it turns out that the lease, they didn't want to move. So that left me now like with, okay, so I bought a building with a tenant, which is a good thing because the income from that is paying the mortgage. But I need a spot for myself. So he was selling that old building because he had moved on to bigger and better things. So he had bought this brand new building and he was like, hey, I'm willing to give you like a few rooms, which was originally what I intended to do. So don't worry, the whole story will come. I'll get to where I'm going.
It's okay. It's a great story. I'm enjoying it.
So he ended up leasing me 2 rooms in his new building. So it's this multi-million-dollar facility that he has now, and it's in there. And he's also a referral source as well because with his overflow patients, like patients can't take. So it worked out really nicely in that sense. But then what I found was that I had bigger dreams than what typically, I guess what I'm trying to say is I expected the practice to grow quicker. And I attended the DPC summit earlier this year as well. And in talking to a lot of people, they were like, you need at least 2 years to really get to where you need to be. And I lived that because I'm growing, which is good, but I'm not growing as fast as I would like because you do the math. The math has to math.
Exactly.
But it was, I think that was my biggest shocker was that, okay, I'm open, guys. Where's everyone? Where are the patients? So at that point, I am thankful that I didn't move into this big building, that I had this big mortgage to pay, right? So thankfully, the tenant, that all worked out on that end, right? I'm in a spot with a doc who's awesome. He's a great mentor. He's sharing all his resources. So it's working out on that end as well. Come March, when the lease ends, I'll be moving into my building. So I am so grateful that things worked out the way that they did. It wasn't the way that I planned, but certainly it did work out. I am at the point too, like being in this business school and you're learning all these new things. And I am transitioning to like a hybrid practice because one of the things that I keep hearing from a lot of patients is like, yeah, DPC sounds great, the membership model, not having to deal with insurance. But unfortunately, Dr. Cindy, a lot of us still have insurance. And if you took insurance, I'd be so happy and grateful if you could be my doctor. So I felt like a lot of patients who actually needed care and wanted that care were actually reaching out, but I couldn't serve them. And I found that what I was doing was in some cases saying, oh, I'll see you for free. You can come on I know, man. We can't do that, right? We can't do that. No. So that was one of the reasons why I was like, okay, maybe I should take insurance. At least I get to see those patients and I get to be compensated for what I do if that's their way of being able to pay. And patients will tell you, I can't pay or like, but I at least want to give them that opportunity. So come January, I will be switching to a hybrid practice. I'll start taking insurance on that arm. Had to make a whole different LLC for that, also under the same umbrella. For anyone who's thinking about it, my CPA, I actually am working with Nate Goodman that he presented at, he presented at the DPC Summit. So shout out to Nate and his team. They are awesome, but I am working with them. And one of the things that they recommended was like keeping the 2 arms very separate. So I'm working with, on my DPC side, like Hint, I had to get a whole different EMR on the other side. I know.
Oh, wow.
different bank accounts and everything. But I think I feel like that is my best way to serve my community. And I know like different practices grow at different rates because online in those groups, sometimes I see posts about people who are like almost at capacity. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? But I know it varies on location, personalities, and different factors. But for me, that has just been my experience in the Mechanicsburg, Wormleysburg area of Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is different for every practice. And I wish there was a way to figure out what was the one thing, but you're right.
I
I
don't
don't think
think
there
so.
is one thing. And it's very hard to pinpoint what makes some people take off and just fill up so quickly and why others don't. But yeah, so the hybrid practice, before you decided to do that, did you have staff? Were you by yourself or you have
Sure.
assistants?
So before I started, it was just me. I had a marketing company. And again, there's a story behind everything for me.
Of course.
So,
No, there is. There is.
the marketing company I chose came through an attending of mine who opened her own. She's an ED doctor, a past attending ED doctor who has her own aesthetics practice. And she was still at the hospital that I was working at. So in talking with her and seeing like all her social media and everything, I was like, I really like that. So she recommended them, started working with them, but they are, they're pricey. It's a huge bill. But again, and that's one of the things I forgot to mention. Having left my employed position because they said at the time that I couldn't do my own private practice while working for them. And knowing that everyone is saying when you're opening your own practice, you do need a side gig. So I had to end up getting this utilization management position. Again, very fortunate. So for 3 days a week, I'm working from home, remote, making six figures. And I'm like, where was this? Exactly. How did I not know about this before?
What is this job? And tell
I
me
can
more.
tell you off camera.
I'm just teasing. I'm kidding. But that's amazing.
I know.
Wow.
But, again, things just falling into place. And I don't think I would ever have stumbled upon certain things or done certain things if you don't take that first step out in faith. So I'm so grateful that I did. And so that's supporting and paying the bills, right? So my own practice, I see patients there it's supposed to be 3 days a week. So I work the quote unquote 9 to 5, 3 days a week. I supposed to work in my practice 3 days a week, longer hours, of course, to make my math, and have a rest day. But you know how we are. And that's one of my goals for 2026 is to really, in my self-care, protect my me time. But we're just trained if a patient says, "Oh, Dr. Cindy, I need you." Okay, I'll see you. Come on in. But one of the really good lectures or sessions at the DPC practice was on boundaries, and I am working. I am working, guys. I'm working on it. So
Was that Michelle
I
Cook's?
think it might have been.
To
I
someone
think it
else?
might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does. She's
But yes,
really good
yes,
about
it might
those.
have been Michelle Cook. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, you got a lot going on.
But it's to build that dream life, right? It's to build that dream life.
is.
And
It is.
I know you talked about like my team when it was just me, like I was posting, I was doing things. I knew I needed help. I'm at the point now where for the insurance, when I start the insurance come January, I am gonna need like help. I can't get away from it. So I do have a virtual assistant now. I have the marketing team that I'm working with. And I recently interviewed a medical assistant in person who'll be helping me. But I realize I'm going to need some backup just in case. You can't always just have one. So working on that. So and then with that comes so many different things, right? So now you're thinking about payroll and payroll taxes and like having a whole HR department. And it's fun, but it's a different kind of busy, if you get what I mean. Yeah, yeah.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Right. Well, it's great that you have a
Yes,
community that you can lean on and ask, how do I do this? What do I do now?
absolutely. Hmm. Yeah.
Yes, that's great. And that's something that I don't think I don't think a lot of DPC doctors do. I don't think they,
Yeah.
I mean, there are some. There are some that work
Right.
with a business coach, but I think a lot of DPC physicians are very
Right.
independent,
Right.
obviously, and I can do this myself. That's
Right.
kind of the mindset. Like, I'm going to read
To,
all the books and I'm going
sure.
to listen to all the podcasts and look at all the Facebook groups and I'm going to do this myself. But I think having a business coach is
Yeah.
wonderful. So, yeah,
So
yeah, definitely.
the benefit of that is with any business, I think, and not just in medicine. You have good days and you have bad days, right? And there will be times when you're like, oh my God, I'm putting all into this, my heart and soul. I'm putting into this so much money. Like and I'm not seeing the return yet. So you have those days where you're
Mm-hmm.
down and you're kind of doubting, and they help so much with that. You can always reach out, or you go into that. We have a Facebook group. You go into that group and you're like, oh, I'm not alone. There have been people who've been right where I am and they've made it through. And if they can make it through, I can as well. We had a vision retreat in October as a group, and that was so helpful. It was one of my low moments. I was complaining, of course, in prayer and to myself that, like, the patients, they're not growing at the rate that I want them to grow. But just going to that retreat and being around everyone and doing the goal setting for 2026, starting 2026, we actually started it in November, like October, November, after that retreat, just
Mm-hmm.
to get like practice, having that
Sure.
vision as to where you're going. That is so helpful. It helps with the mind drama, the mental part of things. It helps keeping you accountable. It helps with keeping you practical and like, okay, maybe this is an overreach or it's a goal, but maybe I'll get there eventually, but this is what you need to be doing now. I can't downplay the benefits of it. I think from the day I discovered Dr. Una's podcast, like my life just changed for the better in that sense that I can do this. It's not going to happen overnight, don't get me wrong. And I think that was one of the biggest lessons I
Mm-hmm.
needed to learn was everyone, we're talking about DPC and how great it is, but it takes time. At least in my case, I'm learning that it actually takes time. It's doable. It has all the benefits they say, that great work-life balance. You're actually spending more time with your patient. You can get to know your patient and develop those relationships. Just like when you wrote your personal statement about getting into med school and what you wanted to do,
Right.
with
Mm-hmm.
patients and for patients, like you can actually do that. And I do see that benefit of it. But at the same time, it's not all a bed of roses in terms of how quickly you can get that panel up and
Mm-hmm.
have that dream life.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, so far, what would you say is the kind of the best thing that you've done to help grow your practice?
The best thing I've done to help grow my practice, I think, so a lot of my patients, there are so many, but a lot of my patients come from what I'm seeing right now is social media. Um, so I do a lot of the ads, the Facebook ads, the Instagram ads, even with starting the insurance arm of things. A lot of the waitlist patients actually come through the ads. You'd be surprised. I know some people say Google works a lot for them, but
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's
No, I think
yeah,
Facebook
yeah,
ads work
really
great.
well.
They work
Yeah.
really well for
That's what I'm
us.
seeing. And it's growing my page, my social media page as well. So I'd say hiring that marketing team, that really helped. And of course, being in the business group that I'm in, that EBS, we call it EBS, Entre MD Business School
Mm-hmm.
community. I would say that was the thing because I started before I actually opened doing it well all along. And I can say that it's what's keeping me going. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This could easily turn into a Dr. Una, Andre MD, Business
Yes,
School of like
yes,
fangirl
yes. Dr.
podcast.
Una,
Totally. Because I
I'm
love.
talking about you. She always says your goal is to have your name mentioned in rooms that you're not even in. And
Mm-hmm.
here we are talking about Una.
Here we
She's
are. I know.
gonna
I
be
know.
us.
Someday it's
Yeah,
gonna be
and you
you.
too,
It's
Anne.
gonna be you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. No. She was on the podcast a couple weeks ago, and I tell you, like we talked for
Yes.
30 minutes, right? But I said, I feel so lucky. This was like a
Oh,
personal coaching
nice.
session. Like how Lucky am I,
That's awesome.
right?
She's amazing. I can't stop saying good
Yeah.
things about her. Yeah.
I know, right? I know.
Yeah.
So this is why I'm
Yes.
saying it could easily turn into
Yes.
fangirl session. But
Yeah.
yeah, so yes, the business group, I mean, any kind of community. And I think one thing that particularly has helped me, and I think a lot of people in DPC as well, is meeting people who are in the same
Yeah.
like phase
Yeah.
as you are. So I did the mastermind through the DPC Alliance, and so all the people that were in that mastermind were all kind of starting
Sure.
around the same time. And so you just meet this group and you have these
Nice.
bonds that you can go to these
Yeah.
people and say, I'm struggling. And
Yeah.
just like you're saying
Yeah.
with the EBS.
Absolutely. Those groups are absolutely necessary. They are absolutely necessary, especially when you're just starting. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
especially solo doctors. Like I have a partner,
That's
which I'm
good.
very lucky. Being alone, it would be
Yeah.
very, very
Yeah.
difficult, I think. Yeah. So let me ask you, so what do you think? I always talk about the
Sure.
positives and negatives. So what do you think is something that you think, oh gosh, looking back, I wouldn't have done that as far as
As
your
far as my
practice?
practice, I probably would have started a hybrid practice from the start. Because I know you can start a hybrid and then later say you're transitioning to just to the
Mm-hmm.
membership model. I probably would have done
Okay.
that.
Uh-huh.
But, like I keep saying, everything starts out as a negative and then I turn it into some
Right.
lemonade. It's a
Mm-hmm.
lemon, but I turn, yes,
Yeah.
it's
It's
all
all
learning.
learning. It's all learning experiences, right?
So things do end up, I bought my building early. Now I'm learning that people don't always do that, but I had a plan in mind and things worked out on that end as well.
Mm-hmm.
I, yeah, so those are some of the things that looking back I'd be like, oh, and I think the biggest lesson, and I had mentioned before, was that knowledge that things do take time to grow. You have to give it time.
Mm-hmm.
Your business is a baby, right? Just like when you
Mm-hmm.
have a natural baby, you don't expect them to pay all the bills. You don't put that on them.
Mm-hmm.
And that expectation, I'm just going to take off and I won't need another position or something to support me while I'm doing the business. Expecting the business to support you and pay all your overhead and expenses too early. You can't put that pressure because then you put pressure on yourself and then you get into this
Mm-hmm.
whole mind drama. It's not working. What did I do? All of that. So from the start,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that you're probably going to need another source of income to supplement yourself while the practice grows. And give yourself the grace and the time to allow your baby to grow. Yeah.
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 That's wonderful
Yeah.
advice. A great place to close.
Yes.
I like it. I
Yes. This
like
was
it.
wonderful.
Yeah. So, well, is there anything else? I mean, that's a great ending statement, but anything else that you want to tell the
No, that
listeners?
was that was it. Dr. Ann is amazing. Thank you
Yeah.
for all you do
Ah,
for
thank you.
DPC, for patients, for the movement. I really,
Yeah.
really appreciate what you bring to us.
Oh, well, I appreciate you coming on and sharing your
Absolutely.
experiences. DPC has
Yeah.
brought so much to me
Yeah.
personally. And so, yeah, if I can help anyone else
Yes.
get out of fee for
Yes.
service,
Yes.
that's great. I'm
Yeah.
glad to do it. So, well, tell us again, how can we find you
Sure.
online?
So I am, as Dr. Ann mentioned, the name of my practice is Dr. Cindy Care. Without an S, guys. That's my pet peeve because a lot of people put on Dr. Cindy Cares, but it's Dr. Cindy Care. It's the type of care that Dr. Cindy gives, and I wanted to kind of put that spin on it and that brand of
Mm-hmm.
care. So we are at
Mm-hmm.
www.dr, Dr. Cindy, CINDYCARE.com. That's our website. We can be found on Instagram at Dr. Cindy Care as well. We're also on Facebook, Dr. Cindy Care LLC. You can follow our page there. And I do have a podcast called The Care Room with Dr. Cindy, where I bring in physicians from various specialties just to answer the everyday questions that patients bring into the office. They would love their specialist to answer or their primary care doctor. So these doctors, they all come on and talk about their zone of genius It's great. But we have a YouTube channel that you can look up, and it's youtube.com/Dr. Cindy Care. So yeah. Yes.
Wonderful. Yes, I've listened to your
Thank you.
podcast. I've enjoyed it. Yeah, especially the menopause. And then there was one recently, was it integrative
Yes,
functional
yes,
medicine?
yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Thanks.
Really interesting. So, yes. So everyone go listen to Dr. Cindy's podcast. It's really
and
good.
subscribe. Thank you.
And subscribe, right?
Yes.
Write a review.
All the things. All the
Share
things.
with your friends. Well, thank you so much, Cindy. I really, really appreciate it. And I hope that I get to see you sometime
Are you
soon
going
in
to
person.
the DPC summit next year or? Okay.
Yes, I didn't go this year, and I have so much FOMO, so...
Yes, I'm planning to be there as well. So hopefully we can meet up there. But thank you, Anne. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to DPC Life. If today's conversation inspired you, hit follow, leave a review, and share it with a friend who's ready for change. Remember, wherever you are in the journey, your DPC family has your back. Until next time, keep building a practice and a life that truly fits you.